This week in Charlotte, North Carolina, once again we've seen racism and bigotry rear its ugly head in the shooting, in the Charleston police shooting of Terrence Crutcher, a 40-year-old unarmed black man who was fatally shot outside of his vehicle. Well, there's two cases here that are sort of blurring together, right? So you have the one case in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where there is a police tape of it, where he was fatally shot outside of his vehicle. His vehicle was stranded and it was broken down. And the other case is the Scott case, which an individual was shot while his family says he was reading a book. But both of these individuals were both unarmed. They're still trying to pull together the details, and depending on when you're hearing the show, to be very honest with you, we'll find out the exact details of the Charlotte case. But either way, since those two cases, we have seen days of unrest in Charlotte, the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. Yesterday or the day before, depending upon when you see this, that unrest led to an uprising of the people. Now, let me address that first before I get into specifics of the case. So there's two ways to do things by police departments. Police departments have two choices. In scenes where you have people who are protesting or calling for justice, as we saw take place all across this country, in Atlanta, in Florida, in Miami, in Washington, D.C., in Chicago, in New York. In all those cases, when those situations begin to become violent or begin to lead to the breaking of windows and the smashing of vehicles, always happen when the police, instead of responding via community channels, when they respond with force. So in the Charlotte case in particular, the police department responded with riot gear and MRAPs and bullet pellets and tear gas and fire bombs and all these crazy things. And the people who are peacefully protesting, get their hands up, right? In response to that, there's escalation. So if police want to de-escalate situations, why don't you do what's done in Dallas or what's even done here in the nation's capital? I've been to many Black Lives Matter protests right here in Washington, and I have never seen vandalism. I have never seen any property damage. Why? Because the police, they take what we like to call, they take they have a down stand. So there's a police presence there. The police help block the streets. The police help make sure the protesters are safe. But they're not. What you never see is the police in the face of the protest with riot gear. Because the moment that begins to happen is the moment that things begin to escalate. So I just want to say that. I want to be very clear about that. And I want to be also very clear about what Martin Luther King says about the voices of the oppressed. A lot of times in many of these uprisings, what you see is those who remain voiceless begin to take on voice. And sometimes when you take on voice in what might not be the most respectable way. But once again, I pose this question. Every time we see these shootings, the black community and the family and those who believe in justice are asked to wait. Wait for the investigation. Let's wait on the facts. Let's wait on this. Let's wait on that. Always waiting, always looking, always waiting for justice, always standing in a line. But that same wait does not apply to the police. And let me be very clear about this. When the police attack, and I say the word attack and I'm using it in a very intentional way, when the police attack black men of color, or black men of color for that matter, time and time again, what you see is there's no waiting, there's no investigating, there's no saying, hi, sir, tell us about your... and I'll give you an example. Laquan McDonald in Chicago. The police didn't wait to say, is he on drugs? Does he have a weapon? None of that. They shot him 16 times. Just boom, 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 boom. Sean Bell, same thing. He was walking out from his bachelor party at a strip club in New York. He was shot 42 times. 42 times. Walter Scott, there was no investigating before the police shot him in the back after tasing him. America, if our justice system should work, no matter if you're a police officer, if you're a black man, if you're a white man, if you're a black woman, if you're a white woman, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're transgendered, our system should work for everybody. But our system seems over and over again to favor those in blue uniforms to the disadvantage of those who are black, who are Hispanic, who are black and gay, who are Hispanic and gay, who are black and lesbian, who are Hispanic and lesbian, who are black and trans, who are Hispanic and Latino and trans. And that's a problem. That's a problem of epic proportion that we as a country have got to deal with. If we don't take the opportunity to deal with this, America, this is a powder keg getting ready to explode. 400 years of compressed racism coming to the surface at one time.